You're the answer that I never knew. Parang formula, biglang nabuo. Each time we talk the numbers align. Parang logarithm, lahat may sign. Even when I'm lost, you find the way. Parang complex sa complex, mas ang bawat hakbang. Parang graph na binuo, nasa axis mo lahat umiikot. Ganito, like I can equation that I've been trying to solve. Pero sa dulo, ikaw pa rin ang sagot. You're my constant, my one and only. Sa dami ng probabilidad, ikaw pa rin ang pinili. No matter the variable, you'll always stay the same. Every calculation brings me closer to you. And I know I'm meant for you. Pagod na minsan pero di ka bumibitaw. Like an algorithm, sinusundan mo lang ang galaw. You divide my fears, multiply the joy. Parang calculus, no problem to koy. May slope na pataas, minsan pababa, pero sa dulo sa'yo pa rin papunta. Aba, minsan may error pero di ka nawawala. Sa bawat variable, ikaw lang ang tama. Kahit gaano ka komplikado, you simplify. Sa'yo lang umiikot, di na kailangan i-try. You balance me out when things go wrong. No need to compute for any reason. You're my constant, my one and only. Sa dami ng probabilidad, ikaw pa rin ang pinili. No matter the variable, you'll always stay the same. Every calculation brings me closer to you. And I know I'm meant for you. Calculation brings me closer to you. And I know I'm meant for you.
Look, I'm trying to figure myself out again. Like I'm standing in the middle of a circle and I don't even know what degree I'm facing. Some days I swear I'm at zero, straightforward, steady, like I know where I'm going. Other days it feels like I spun for 360 and ended up right back where I started. And I hate that feeling, the one where you're moving but nothing really changes. You said people don't change overnight, but I've been checking my angles, checking the slope of my decision, trying to see if the direction I keep choosing is actually the one I want. And it's weird, you know, how a small shift, 5 degrees, 10 degrees can take you somewhere you never thought you'd land. I've been tracing my life like a graph, trying to follow the curve without losing myself. Sine waves in my chest, up, down, and I'm learning that's just how it goes. Causing dips when I least expect it. Tangent shoots off like I'm spiraling again. Every cycle teaches me something, even when I don't wanna hear it. I guess I'm still figuring out how to stay steady when everything keeps rotating. I've been calling out things I used to avoid, like how I let people pull my angle off course just because I didn't want to start a fight. I just everything, my tone, my plans, my peace, just to keep things aligned. But that's not balance, that's me bending until I break. And yeah, sometimes I feel like a function that nobody knows how to solve, like I'm just throwing values into the universe, hoping something fits, but maybe that's part of growing. Realizing not every question has a clean answer, not every mistake makes you wrong. Some just teach you a direction you don't want to turn again, and I'm finally seeing I don't need to match anyone's angle to feel complete. I've everything keeps rotating. Maybe I don't need perfect symmetry. Maybe I just need to know that wherever I stand, whatever angle I'm facing, I can keep moving without losing who I am. So yeah, I'm still turning, still learning, still finding the right degrees to step into. And if the path curves or shifts or loops back, it's okay, I'm not lost. I'm just in motion. Some days I feel the weight build up, quiet, steady, like something pushing from the inside. Slow enough to ignore, strong enough that I can. I try to hold it together the way a system keeps its shape, even when everything feels like it's pressing too hard. And I tell myself it's fine, that I've carried worse before, but the pressure still finds all the weak spots. And maybe I don't need to be finding my way. I've learned that even water finds a path when it's blocked. Soft but persistent, patient but never still. And maybe I'm like that too, always shifting, always adjusting, still moving even when I feel stuck. There are days when the weight returns a little heavier than before, but I know better now. I don't hold everything and I don't shut every door. Let it pass through and find my shape again. Find my shape
I've been drawing lines around my life, trying to make sense of the angles you left behind. Some days I feel like a crooked shape that somebody sketched too fast and never bothered to fix. You kept telling me we'd find our balance, but we were two sides that never met. Parallel, close but always out of reach, and I kept trying to bend just to match you, like I could force symmetry where there was none. And I'm tired of measuring myself by the distance between who I am and who I thought we could be. I'm done trying to solve what was never a problem, just two shapes that didn't fit. I kept tracing circles just needed time, but time doesn't fix the wrong formula. I kept adding up, subtracting myself, thinking maybe the sum would feel right someday. But the truth is simple, I was shrinking just to fit inside the outline you made for me. Oh, you move like a free shape, always shifting, never staying, never landing on anything real. And I kept letting you redraw the boundaries until I didn't know where my edges were. And now I'm learning I don't need to fit inside someone else's design to feel complete. I'm done trying to solve what was never a problem, just two shapes that didn't fit. I kept tracing circles, going around the same pain, hoping one day it would turn into something whole. But you can't build a life on broken points and missing lines. So I'm stepping out of the pattern, finally seeing the shape of me without you bending it. Maybe we were just angles that look right from a distance, but collapse the moment you check the foundation. And that's okay, not everything we touch has to become a masterpiece. Sometimes it's just a sketch that teaches you how to draw better next time.
Lately I've been feeling like the rain won't stop, not the heavy kind, just the quiet drizzle that stays even when you're trying to move on. I don't know when it started, but something in me keeps pulling up like water that doesn't know where it's supposed to go. And you know how rivers find their own path. I keep wondering why mine keeps leading back to you, even after all the drought days you left me with. Maybe I've been carrying too much, like a reservoir that never learned to spill before overflowing. Maybe that's why everything feels so heavy. I just want things to flow right again, nothing perfect, just steady. I don't need a flood of promises, just a current that won't disappear when it gets hard. If you come back like rainfall after weeks of heat. Slow, gentle, real. If not, I'll learn to evaporate whatever's left of you. Sometimes I check myself, like measuring water levels after a storm. Am I okay? Did I heal more today? Or did I lose a part of me again? There's groundwater somewhere in me, the kind you can't see but keeps you going. I'm trying to reach that, trying to remember I wasn't made to stay dry forever. You don't have to say anything. Silence can still make ripples if it's from someone you love. I just want things to flow right again, nothing perfect, just steady. I don't need a flood of promises, just a current that won't disappear when it gets hard. If you come back like rainfall after weeks of heat. Slow, gentle, real. If not, I'll learn to evaporate whatever's left of you.